so good. Don't even miss the pasta. Today I'm gonna be sharing my low carb zucchini lasagna recipe that seriously tastes like the real deal. It is so good. I'm currently on my own weight loss journey right now, postpartum. And in the past, I studied abroad in Italy. I studied the Mediterranean diet. I love pasta, but especially right now, it's not something that's really going to serve my goals. Thankfully, my recipe today literally tastes like the real deal. I don't even miss pasta. So I can essentially have my pasta without actually sacrificing my weight loss progress. Let's dive into that recipe. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance. We seriously make this recipe at least once a month. It's really rich in protein to help support a weight loss goal and body recomposition goal. And I use zucchini instead of pasta for a low glycemic swap. That way I don't get these really big blood sugar spikes that can cause my storing hormone insulin to spike as well. And this is just a crowd pleaser. Like, I've served this to my niece and nephew. I've served it to my family. I've served it to my friends. Everybody's always like, can I get that recipe? So the original recipe has been on my blog for a few years now. I haven't shared it with the YouTube community yet. And I figured it's fall, it's time for comfort food that actually supports our goals. And if you want the full recipe, I will have it linked down description below. So this recipe serves 4, but I'm actually doubling it because I am having people over for dinner tonight. Okay, so first things first, obviously we need to preheat the oven. I'm preheating it to 400. And then we start with the filling. So just to make this whole process a little bit faster, because it is a lengthier recipe, I like to start by cooking the protein first, because this is going to be the part of the filling that takes the longest. So I'm using ground beef. I'm using about 2 pounds since I am doubling it. I'm adding salt, pepper, cayenne, and garlic powder. And then I just cook this and break it up into crumbles until the meat is done. You definitely don't want to skimp on this part. You want to make sure that you're accounting for about a 1/4 pound per person. That way each person is getting enough protein from the meal. I like to use ground beef, but you can also use ground turkey or ground chicken if you prefer that. I haven't tried it with tempeh, but you probably could crumble up tempeh and use that instead of ground beef for a plant-based alternative. Next up is the creamy cheese mixture, which just absolutely makes this dish. So I'm using whole milk ricotta cheese, making sure that we're using a whole fat dairy product. Interestingly, whole fat dairy products are actually inversely associated with obesity and has been found to be helpful for weight loss. It's probably because full fat dairy is rich in both protein and fat, and that combination helps to raise our satiety hormones, peptide YY and CCK, make us feel full and satisfied and prevent snacking. I'm also adding in grated pecorino cheese. This is probably about a cup's worth of grated pecorino. You can also use Parmesan if you don't have pecorino. And then 2 eggs and a lot of garlic. I used about 7 or 8 cloves of fresh garlic because garlic is where all the flavor's at. And then just a heavy pinch of salt and pepper to taste and blend it up until it's creamy. Then I put it into a bowl so that I can next make my tomato mixture. Now this next part does tend to make the process a little bit longer. So if you wanted to use regular marinara sauce, you could, although I would highly recommend making it because the sauce is so good. I originally got this sauce idea from the Hemsley sisters, I believe that's their name. And you start off with sun-dried tomatoes. I used about 2 cups here since I am doubling the recipe. I just roughly chop them so it's easier for my food processor to blend. I added in a cup of white beans. So there's a bunch of different types of white beans that you can use, like the Great Northern ones I think are the ones that I use, but there's also cannellini. This helps to provide a bit of substance. And since I am doubling it and it's serving 8 people, the starch amount that's in the beans is going to be pretty low. And then I'm adding in tomato paste as well as salt and pepper, some olive oil, and again, lots of garlic. Big theme here. Love garlic. And then to thin it out, I used about a cup of water, although the amount you use kind of depends on if you're using like the sun-dried tomatoes packed in oil or if they're dried like the ones that I used. So I would start off with less, maybe like a 1/4 or a 1/2 cup, and you can always add more. This sauce is going to be thicker than just regular marinara sauce, and don't make the mistake that I made in the past on trying to thin it out to look like regular marinara sauce. It should look a bit chunkier or like thicker. It's just gonna make your lasagna hold up so much better. Next up, we need our pasta. So for this, I'm using thinly sliced zucchini, and the trick is to use a potato peeler. So I like to just peel zucchini, so I'm getting like these long strips that act as the lasagna sheets. Now that we have these, we're going to layer it all together in a baking dish. So we're starting off first by putting about like a 1/4 of the sun-dried tomato sauce mixture at the base, then adding a layer of zucchini noodles, topping that with 1/2 of both of the fillings, so 1/2 of the cooked meat and then 1/2 of the cheese mixture. Then taking another 1/4 of the tomato sauce mixture, adding that on top and repeating the process. process. So we're just repeating that one more time with the zucchini layer, the cooked ground meat, and then the cheese. And then we're going to top it one more time with a layer of zucchini noodles and then add all the rest of the tomato sauce on top. Then we just bake it for about 40-45 minutes and let it cool for 10 minutes. Please just trust me on this. You wanna make sure that you let it cool. When you smell it, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I wanna eat that right now. Just let it cool for a little bit. Okay, we have to taste this thing. And I'm saying taste as if I haven't had this like 7,000 times. Look at those layers. Oh, so good. Oh my gosh. It just smells amazing. So good. Don't even miss the pasta. You guys are seriously going to love this one. And my taste test has quickly turned into just me eating the whole thing on camera. Now this recipe is a little bit more time consuming than most of my recipes. It's one that you can make on the weekend and make a lot of like what I'm doing right now and then just have leftovers throughout the week. It's great to reheat. But if you're looking for some really fast and easy dinner recipes that only take like 10 or 15 minutes to prep, you can check out this video next. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right guys, enjoy your lasagna and I'll see you in my next video.